Imagine a world where the tide of World War II turned not just on battles, but on secrets hidden in plain sight. From cryptic machines that held the key to victory to mountains of stolen gold and art and superweapons that could have reshaped the future, the remnants of the Third Reich revealed a story far stranger than fiction. These are the most incredible finds from Nazi Germany, discoveries that continue to fascinate and horrify us to this day. Chapter 1: The Enigma Machine – Cracking the Code. In the shadowy world of espionage and intelligence, few discoveries have had as profound an impact as the capture and subsequent cracking of the German Enigma machine. To the untrained eye, the Enigma was nothing more than a sophisticated typewriter, housed in a simple wooden box. It was a marvel of electromechanical engineering, designed to encrypt messages into a seemingly unbreakable code. For years, the German military, from the U-boats prowling the Atlantic to the highest echelons of the Wehrmacht, relied on the Enigma to transmit their most secret communications, confident that their messages were secure from enemy ears. The machine's complexity was its greatest strength. It consisted of a keyboard, a lamp board, and a series of rotating wheels or rotors. Each time a key was pressed, an electrical current would pass through a labyrinth of wiring within the rotors, illuminating a different letter on the lamp board. The rotors would then click to a new position, changing the entire encryption pattern. With multiple rotors, each with 26 possible starting positions, and a plug board that could swap pairs of letters, the number of possible combinations was astronomical, running into the trillions. To the Nazis, the Enigma was invincible. The Allied quest to break the Enigma code was a monumental undertaking, a secret war waged by brilliant minds far from the front lines. The initial breakthroughs came from Polish mathematicians Marian Rejewski, Jerzy Rosicki, and Henryk Zygalski, who, in the late 1930s, managed to reverse engineer the machine's wiring and develop techniques to decipher early Enigma messages. Their pioneering work, shared with the British and French just before the invasion of Poland, laid the foundation for what was to come. The true heart of the Allied code-breaking effort was located in Bletchley Park, a Victorian country estate in Buckinghamshire, England. Here, a motley crew of mathematicians, linguists, chess champions, and crossword puzzle enthusiasts, led by luminaries like Alan Turing, worked tirelessly to unravel the Enigma's secrets. Turing's genius was instrumental in designing the bomb, an electromechanical device that could systematically test thousands of possible Enigma settings, dramatically speeding up the decryption process. However, the theoretical work of Bletchley Park would have been useless without the physical capture of Enigma machines and their accompanying codebooks. These were not easily given up. U-boat crews were under strict orders to destroy their Enigmas if their submarines were in danger of being captured. Yet, through a combination of daring raids, lucky captures, and sheer bravery, the Allies managed to get their hands on the coveted machines. One of the most famous incidents was the capture of U-110 in May 1941 by the British Royal Navy. As the German crew abandoned their sinking submarine, they failed to destroy their Enigma machine and its codebooks. A boarding party from HMS Bulldog risked their lives to retrieve the priceless intelligence before the U-boat sank. The materials they recovered provided Bletchley Park with a vital key to the naval Enigma, allowing the Allies to reroute convoys away from German wolf packs and significantly turning the tide of the Battle of the Atlantic. The impact of cracking the Enigma code, codenamed Ultra, cannot be overstated. It gave the Allies an unprecedented window into the German war machine. They knew about troop movements, battle plans, supply lines, and the effectiveness of their own deception campaigns. From the deserts of North Africa, where ultra-intelligence helped Montgomery defeat Rommel, to the beaches of Normandy on D-Day, where knowledge of German positions was crucial, the ability to read the enemy's mail was a decisive factor. It is estimated that the intelligence gleaned from Enigma shortened the war by at least 2 years, saving countless lives. The discovery of Enigma's secret was not just a technological triumph, it was one of the most critical intelligence victories of the entire war. Chapter 2: Nazi Gold and the Monuments Men. As the Third Reich crumbled in the final months of World War II, Allied forces advancing into the heart of Germany began to uncover a different kind of secret, one that spoke to the regime's avarice and its systematic plunder of an entire continent. Deep within salt mines, hidden in remote castles, and buried in secret vaults, they found a treasure trove of unimaginable value. Tons of gold bars, stacks of foreign currency, and a breathtaking collection of stolen arts. This was the spoils of a decade of Nazi looting, and its discovery set off one of the greatest treasure hunts in history. The Nazi regime's plundering was methodical and vast. As their armies swept across Europe, they systematically looted the national banks and private collections of occupied nations. Gold reserves from countries like Belgium, the Netherlands, and Czechoslovakia were confiscated and funneled back to the Reichsbank in Berlin. This stolen gold was not just a symbol of conquest, it was the financial lifeblood of the Nazi war effort, used to purchase strategic materials from neutral countries and fund their global espionage network. The most astonishing of these discoveries was made in April 1945 by American soldiers of the Third Army. Acting on a tip, they stumbled upon the Merker salt mine in Thuringia. Deep within its subterranean chambers, more than 2,000 feet below the surface, they found a scene straight out of a fantasy. In a bricked-up vault, they discovered thousands of bags containing gold and silver coins, 7,000 bags of gold bars, and countless crates filled with platinum, diamonds, and other precious jewels. The total value was staggering, estimated to be over $500 million at the time, equivalent to billions today. It was the main reserve of the German Reichsbank, hidden away in the final, desperate days of the war. But the Nazi plunder was not limited to gold and currency. Adolf Hitler, a failed artist himself, envisioned creating a Führer museum in his hometown of Linz, Austria, which would house the greatest collection of art the world had ever seen. To this end, a special task force, the Eisenstab Reichsleiter Rosenberg, the ERR, was established to systematically loot art from museums and private collections, particularly those belonging to Jewish families. Masterpieces by artists like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Vermeer, and Rembrandt were stolen and hidden away. This is where the story of the Monuments Men begins. Officially known as the Monuments Fine Arts and Archives MFAA section, this small group of art historians, museum creators, and academics was tasked with the unprecedented mission of tracking, locating, and recovering these stolen treasures. They were an unlikely band of soldiers, more comfortable in a library than on a battlefield. Yet they found themselves at the forefront of the effort to save Europe's cultural heritage. The work of the Monuments Men was a race against time. They had to contend with the chaos of a continent at war, navigating through bombed-out cities and hostile territory. They followed a trail of clues, from shipping records to interrogations of Nazi officials, to pinpoint the locations of hidden art repositories. They discovered that the Nazis had stashed their loot in some of the most unlikely places. The Neuschwanstein Castle in Bavaria, a fairy tale palace that became a storehouse for stolen art. The Altasee salt mine in Austria, where they stored the entire collection for the planned Führer Museum, including the Ghent altarpiece, and Michelangelo's Bruges Madonna was hidden. In these subterranean mines, the conditions were perfect for preserving art, with a stable temperature and humidity. However, the treasures were also in grave danger. As the Reich collapsed, fanatical Nazi officials issued orders to destroy the repositories to prevent them from falling into Allied hands. In Altusee, the local mine administrator, with the help of the Monuments Men and the Austrian resistance, defied these orders, saving thousands of priceless works of art from certain destruction. The discovery of the Nazi gold and the recovery of the stolen art were not just about reclaiming wealth and property. It was a powerful symbol of justice and restoration. It represented a victory over a regime that sought not only to conquer lands, but also to erase cultures and histories. The incredible finds in the mines and castles of Germany were a testament to both the depths of Nazi greed and the dedication of those who worked to undo the damage. Chapter 3: Wonder Weapons, V2 Rockets and Jet Fighters. As the war turned against Germany, Hitler and his high command placed their faith in a new generation of technologically advanced superweapons, the Wunderwaffen. They believed these wonder weapons could turn the tide of the conflict, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. While they ultimately failed to change the war's outcome, the discovery of these futuristic and terrifying technologies by the advancing Allies provided a chilling glimpse into the future of warfare. The most infamous of these was the V2 rocket, developed by a team of scientists led by Werner von Braun at a secret facility in Peenemünde on the Baltic coast. The V2 was the world's first long-range ballistic missile. Standing over 46 feet tall and weighing nearly 13 tons, it was a weapon unlike any seen before. It could travel at supersonic speeds, reaching an altitude of over 50 miles before descending on its target without warning. There was no defense against it. The sound of its approach only arrived after it had already struck. From September 1944 onwards, thousands of V2s were launched against Allied cities, primarily London and Antwerp. While they were not accurate enough to be military decisive, their psychological impact was immense. They were weapons of terror designed to break civilian morale. For the Allies, capturing the V2 technology became a top priority. As they pushed into Germany, they launched Operation Paperclip, a secret program to seize German scientists, including von Braun and his team, along with their research and equipment. The discovery of the V2 production facilities, such as the horrific underground factory at Mittelwerk Dora, where thousands of slave laborers died, revealed the brutal human cost of this technological leap. The captured V2 rockets and the expertise of their creators would go on to form the bedrock of American and Soviet space programs, ultimately leading to the moon landing. Equally revolutionary was the development of the Messerschmitt May 262, the world's first operational jet-powered fighter aircraft. With its sleek, swept-wing design and two powerful jet engines, the May 262 was a quantum leap ahead of the propeller-driven fighters of the day. It could fly faster and climb higher than any Allied aircraft, making it a formidable opponent in the skies over Germany. When Allied pilots first encountered the May 262, they were stunned. It was so fast that they could attack bomber formations with near impunity and then speed away before the escorts could even react. However, the May 262 was a weapon that arrived too late and in too few numbers to have a strategic impact. Its development was plagued by delays, political interference from Hitler, who insisted to be used as a bomber, and a shortage of strategic materials and fuel. Nevertheless, the discovery of May 262s on captured airfields was a revelation for Allied engineers and pilots. They were able to study the advanced jet engine technology and aerodynamic principles, which heavily influenced the design of the first generation of American and British jet fighters, such as the F-86 Sabre and the Gloucester Meteor. Beyond the V2 and the May 262, the Allies uncovered a whole host of other ambitious and often bizarre secret weapon projects. There was the Horton-Ho 229, a flying-wing jet fighter bomber that bore an uncanny resemblance to the modern B-2 stealth bomber. There were designs for intercontinental missiles that could reach New York, and even talk of a sun gun, a giant orbiting mirror designed to focus the sun's rays to burn cities. While many of these projects never left the drawing board, they showcased the advanced and often fanatical nature of Nazi scientific research. The discovery of these wonder weapons was a sobering reminder of how close the world had come to a new and even more terrifying era of warfare. Chapter 4: Bunkers and Secret Bases, the Wolf's Lair. As the Allied armies closed in on the heart of the Third Reich, they began to uncover physical nerve centers of the Nazi regime, a network of heavily fortified bunkers and secret headquarters from which Hitler and his inner circle had waged their war. These were not just simple shelters. They were sprawling, self-contained complexes designed to withstand almost any attack and allow the Nazi leadership to continue functioning even as the world around them burned. The most significant of these was the Wolfschanz, or Wolf's Lair. Located deep in the forests of East Prussia, modern-day Poland, the Wolf's Lair was more than a bunker. It was a militarized city, camouflaged and protected by miles of minefields, anti-aircraft guns, and multiple security zones. Constructed in absolute secrecy starting in 1940, it grew into a massive complex of over 80 buildings, including concrete bunkers, wooden barracks, communication centers, and fuel depots. At its peak, over 2,000 personnel lived and worked within its heavily guarded perimeter. From this eerie, mist-shrouded compound, Adolf Hitler orchestrated some of the most pivotal decisions of the war, including the launch of Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. The Wolf's Lair became his primary headquarters on the Eastern Front, and for over 800 days, it served as his operational base, reinforcing his increasing isolation from the realities of the battlefield and the German people. Outro. What the Allies uncovered in the final stages of World War II wasn't just a defeated enemy, but a hidden empire of stolen wealth, encrypted secrets, and terrifying ambitions. Beneath the rubble of the Third Reich lay artifacts that told a deeper story of obsession, genius, cruelty, and the narrow margins by which history is made. These discoveries remind us that war isn't just fought with bullets and bombs. It's shaped by what's buried in vaults, etched in code, and hidden beneath the ground.